Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, original, chapter number 3, text number 42. Karma Yoga. Indriyani Paranyaho Indriyebhyaha Parammana Manastastu Parabuddhir Yobuddhir Paradastu Saha. Saha means soul, he. Indriyani Paranyaho. Paranya means superior. Superior to the senses, that the senses are eyes, ears, nose, mouth, skin, working senses, speech, 2 hands, 2 legs, rectum, genital. All these senses, in other words, the entire body, what we are talking about, is less powerful than the mind. In other words, superior to the senses is the mind. Why mind is superior? Because when senses are not active, the mind remains still active. In the daytime, you have all these bodily functions, and these are done according to the direction of the mind. And when the senses take rest on the bed, the mind is still active, and you see dreams, various kinds of dreams, good dreams, bad dreams, petrifying dreams, horrifying dreams. So mind is active. But sometimes the mind goes to the deep sleep, that you do not understand anything at all. At that time, intelligence is active. You may not recognize the action of the intelligence, but it gives the sense of living existence, that you are still there. Then when intelligence also fails due to the absorbed mind, intelligence, senses in some kind of darkness, the soul is supervising all these subtle senses. So when we actually speak about gross and subtle body, the gross body anyway is going to die. No matter how much you try to keep it, it is going to be destroyed. So you don't need to make any special endeavor to destroy the gross body. But you have to make a special endeavor to destroy your subtle body. Consists of mind, intelligence, and ego. Just like when your external dress, pant and shirt, sari, jacket, whatever, still your inner garments is there. Now, if something happens to the t-shirt, you just throw it and put a new one. But you don't change the inner shirt. That is obvious. Similarly, when your external body is destroyed, the subtle body is still there. And this subtle body is full of desires. So, the senses are very powerful. It is the senses that guide the mind and intelligence to go behind it. Therefore, the senses must be withdrawn from the bad sense objects. Why? Because when the senses go behind these objects of the world, the intelligence, mind also be happy with it. So if the director of mind and intelligence is the senses, then we should control the senses, not supplying its unauthorized demands, which will be only exasperating the soul. Though the soul does not want any kinds of directions of the senses, but in the material body, the soul is forced to accept the directions of the senses, mind and intelligence. The senses grab all these objects and put it in the mind, and the mind meditates on it and throw it at night in the form of dream. For an example, a merchant who always counts money as the business take place, because he was so much absorbed in earning and counting money, it reflects when he goes to sleep at night, and in the dream also he would be counting the money. Similarly, a lecturer lectures, in the dream also will be lecturing. Likewise, there are many other incidents. But if a person become lusty by seeing a beautiful woman or a man, and it reflects at night, and a discharge can happen to either of them, which is called nocturnal emission. Because you allowed the lust to enter into the mind, appreciating the beautiful forms of the opposite sex. So naturally the mind reacts at night. Therefore, the brahmacharis and sannyasis are not allowed to see these beautiful opposite sex, because it would simply react. Krishna explained where the lust resides. So now, with our spiritual wisdom, we need to conquer the senses first. We are submerged in the pool of lust, and we are unable to recognize and where we are at now because of the misdirection by the various senses. It doesn't matter who that person is. He can be the emperor, he can be the president, or the prime minister, or the commander, or a general, or a commissioner, or an ambassador, or a prince or princess, or conquered all the direction by his might. If he doesn't conquer his senses, he is going to be, in slang language, blooped. Cleopatra, we have heard from the history, most beautiful Egyptian woman of that time. And because of her beauty, her charming behavior, she captivated or lured the Roman governing body commissioner, Julius Caesar. He was the general. And Julius Caesar was assassinated because of that. Then she made Antony to fall in her love. Likewise, there were so many Indian kings who were trapped and vanquished from their position. In olden times, the enemies used the Vishakanyas simply by their kiss. The enemy would be dead. And men are attracted to such personalities without knowing the poison behind them, which can kill the personality. Nowadays, these guys use machine guns and various pistols and revolvers. That time, this is what they used to use to destroy the enemy by bringing their dormant lust to the surface by sending beautiful women. So lust is a horrifying enemy, and anybody can be carried away. Lust is like a parasite, just like a parasite plant. When it appears in a gigantic tree, it lives there only to destroy that tree. Though the tree is very gigantic and powerful in its own way, that in thunder, lightning, cyclone, it remains steady. That is the power of the tree. But the parasite can destroy. Similarly, a man may be powerful in his political position, in military, in business, in everywhere. But because the parasite, like lust, residing in him, the lust can take him down, regardless of his powerful position in the society, whether he is powerful spiritually, religiously, or socially, or internationally or nationally. This parasite like lust can take him out of his tranquil mind and intelligence. So allow no parasite to grow in the form of lust in our heart. It is there. We can only push it far behind so that it never comes back. But most of the time, that is not the case. It will still come back. If you give a chance to one of your senses, and your mind and intelligence and consciousness and soul will be carried away by this lust. So let us give no chances. Of course, we cannot stop the functions of the senses, mind and intelligence, but we need to give them proper engagement. Because soul being active, all this subtle body also has to be active. But if we haven't given proper engagement, it always ends up in these lusty desires. And you can see the men work so hard, women work so hard. At night, they just have 5 minutes sex and go to sleep. So this is the material routine activity going on for so many years. But if we give the mind and senses and intelligence proper engagement, which is the spiritual engagement, because any amount of work in this world without God consciousness is simply futile. You have to bring your natural qualities of devotional service to the Supreme Lord. The soul is always linked with the Supreme. Because of these material activities, these senses detach the soul from its original actions. That is devotional services to the Supreme Lord. And living entities are attached to that immediate sensual pleasures. But we found in the pages of Shastra, it is mentioned that every materialist who has entangled in the materialistic activities, unable to come out of it, is directed to go and meet a self-realized devotee and get a direction and follow that. Sadhu prasannam mokshadvara darshanam. If a saintly person, a devotee of the Supreme Lord, is pleased by your submission, behavior, service attitude. Moksha dwara darshanam. They can see the dwara, the doorway to achieve the most perfection, which is the kingdom of God. Of course, that sadhu must know what he is teaching. By having the support of the scriptural quotes, he can direct you properly. But if you do not know that, Stri Prasannam, you have to make the Stri happy. Man tried to make Stri happy, and the Stri also tried to make man happy. The real meaning of Stri is that everyone is a Stri in this material world. As we mentioned in the previous discussion, that everyone wants to enjoy. So because we want to enjoy, regardless of man or woman, gender, they are considered to be Purusha. However, Shastra says, Stri Prasannam, by making the Stri happy, Mutra Dwara Darshanam. Being pleased, they will show their private part, which is always attract you to the lusty members of the society. So woman sees the man's Mutra Dwara, and man sees the woman's Mutra Dwara. No offense, but we are talking from the scriptures. Stri Prasanna Mutra Dwara Darshan. Sadhu Prasanna Moksha Dwara Darshan. The doorway to the spiritual world is open by pleasing the sadhus. The doorway of something else is seen by the lusty members of the society. It could be both. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Narada Muni explains to Yudhishthira Maharaj about the Brahmachari Vrita, a celibacy life. Nanu Agni Pramadha Nama Gridha Kumbha Samapuman. Nanu Agni. Certainly. Nanu means certainly. Agni means fire. Pramadha. Pramadha means woman. Nanu Agni Pramadha Nama. Gridha Kumbha. The woman is compared to fire. Gridha Kumbha means butter pot or butter. Samapuman. Sama means compared to the man. Stri is compared to Agni, fire, and many is compared to butter. So naturally when they are together, the fire is there. The men will start melting. The butter will be melting because of the fire's presence. So therefore, men who wants to live a superlative, decent spiritual life must refrain from these beautiful personalities. But their heart, according to Kashyapa Muni, telling to Diti, his holy wife, you are very beautiful, my dear wife, but your heart is like a razor blade. So nice rose flowers, full of thorns. So that is what the instruction of the sages. Stay away, give them their space. Don't get into their space. You will melt away because you are the butter. Your heart is very soft. Sometimes it happens the other way around too. Therefore, I said in this material world, everyone is acting as Purusha. Originally, they are Stri. They want to enjoy. Woman wants to enjoy, man wants to enjoy. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the great sage Kapila Muni explains, Prasangam acharam pasham atmano kavayo vidu saeva sadhusu krido mokshadwaram apavritam. Apavritam means open up. Every sane and intelligent person shall know or knows the attachment for the material objects is simply an entanglement for their progressive life. Prasangam means attachment. Ajaram pasham. Pasham means the rope, entanglement. Atmano kavayo vidu, an intelligent person who knows about the soul. For him, the material attachment is simply a strong rope that ties you with the material objects of sense enjoyment articles. So every intelligent person knows that. Saeva sadhusu krido mokshadwaram apavridam. But that same attachment you apply to a self-realized devotee, Lord Sri Krishna's devotee. Mokshadwaram apavridam. It will open up the human perfection. We do not know how much we will be fortunate to meet that personality and associate with that personality. Not taking that person in terms of your counting pounds and shilling and rupees. Understand their supreme wisdom, that they are completely surrendered to the Supreme Goddess and the Supreme God, the personality of God. And if you do not have an idea who is God, just like in the modern civilization, in the modern world, everybody wants to be religious, but have no idea who God is. So because they have some idea, they keep traveling from one place to another place to another place to another place, just having an exercise. But if you know Krishna is the absolute Godhead from the pages of scriptures, your mind is actually focused. In order to get his complete details, we need to have the great devotees of the Lord. That is what Kapila Dev explains in this verse.